gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Play CSGO? Discover more than 5 various kinds of bets just for a single map. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Getting tired of playing with the usual skins, but don't have enough money to buy a new one? Get rich fast with CSGoFast.com. CSGoFast. It's a strong chance of winning in every game. Several rooms with different game modes. Daily, more than 1,000 games, 5,000 players, and 25,000 skins at stake. You don't need much in order to sweep the board.
Welcome back to the Starladder I-League Star Series Season 2. We are coming back with our final quarterfinal. Not our final quarterfinal. My name is TomBiz14. This is Flakes, and well, we can tell you the teams have already gone through. We've got Dignitas, we've got Hellraisers, who didn't actually have to play a quarterfinal because of the way their bracket was. And as you've just seen, we now have Envious, but we've got one more to go. Faze or Team X. And well, we've actually already had 2 maps played today from these 2 teams, not in our tournament, so don't want to give them too much of a plug. I think they don't really need it, if I'm honest. But at the same time, it seemed like Faze may have this one under wraps.
I have a small feeling, taking into account that we've just seen them play Mirage and beat them 16-5, and then we saw them play Train and it was 16-13. The big thing I have to know about this is the fact that now we're in a BO3, the veto process is going to be much more different. And well, the interesting factor is, will we see them ban out those 2 maps?
I think Faze banning Overpass is just smart in general, because that's like Team X's best map. It has been for a while. Dust 2 and Cash, the 2 sort of aim maps, which will always favor those sort of 5 crazy players. And then we get down to, well, we've already seen Mirage. It was a 16-5 earlier today. Not the best way to keep that one going. Hopefully thinking of changing things up. Cobble, which, well, before they picked Train, now they've gone for Cobble, although Train was actually pretty close in the last matchup. We saw it was 16-13, still in favor of Faze, and then Train is the last one in the pool. So we've already seen Faze win 2 of these today. It's more of a best-of-1 format, but it's still 2 of 3 maps. It doesn't look good already for Team X. The only thing we really can say is Faze are sort of one of those teams that can go up and do crazy well and then just fall off the face of the earth. Like, we've actually seen, well, more the opposite of, like, Fnatic will beat them 16-0 and then they'll come back and win the next map, which logically makes no sense. But at the same time, it is possible for this team. They are a team that could definitely just fall off sometimes. But they do have that slight little additional factor of now they have a bit more of a consistent AWPer.
The other factor for me is the fact that it's not like these teams have been sitting around all day after playing these 2 maps, and Team X have been handed loads of time to do counter research. Pretty confident Mirage finished about half an hour ago, if that. So there really is no time for Team X to sit around and go, yep, now we're going to counterplay them doing this, this, and this. No, they've actually had about 20 minutes maybe just to sit down and talk before having to get ready for this game.
Yeah, well, the only other thing I could sort of highlight is if there are any obvious problems, they could go through them and sort of, you always say you learn more from a loss than a victory in most circumstances, because if you win, oh, we don't really need to improve. You lose, you kind of think, okay, well, this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong. You can go for sort of things like that, but this is such a difficult scenario. Like, Team X are a team that I was hoping would be the more tactical side of things. That's where you sort of have to beat Faze in the sort of setups and stuff, because realistically, what is the weak point of Faze? That's the sort of thing. Like, I think if you look at any sort of video, like we talk about, say, Thorin's video recently, where he talks about the addition of Alu, they have multiple players who could be the star. You take Jacob, the reason sometimes he falls off is because he wants to be in a star role. You take AZ, he's definitely a star of most other lineups. And you sort of look at other players like, well, Keo sort of is always one of those sort of second or third player, but at the same time, he is still a phenomenal player in his right. Rain, the clutch meister, and no one can deny that. And now they've added an incredible AWPer as well.
Well, you mentioned Keo being this kind of second and third player. He, in fact, top-fragged when they played Mirage. So he's having a good day today as is, which just leads me to the thought process of what damage can Faze do if they're having all of their players fire on all cylinders? Because we've just witnessed that take place with Envious on their 3rd map on Cash. Now, albeit Envious might be inconsistent, we see a little bit of that with Faze. The one thing about Faze is we don't tend to see this flip-flop when it comes down to a BO3. They're either playing well one day, or they're just playing bad overall. There is no them coming back with a second map.
Well, the other thing is, how confident realistically can you be going into a game where you're talking about the idea that we've already beaten these guys twice on 2 of the 3 maps? Like, you're not going to be going in saying, oh, I don't think we're going to be able to do this one, guys. You're going to be going in as confident as you may be, especially after the last map being Mirage, and it's now the first map. You're basically trying to replay things. The only real factor is if they try and do things exactly the same, well, you could say, okay, well, we've already had 21 rounds to read what Faze will do. Now let's try and do something else. Or
so it's testing their tactics and it's testing their calling, basically, is what it comes down to. If they don't bring something new to the table and they do try and just play things exactly the same way they've just played, well, then it is going to be easy as hell for them to be read like a book. Yeah,
the only other real problem is you take, say, Team X and you look at the sort of talent pool, just in general. They have some decent players, but realistically, man for man, I think they're outgunned. That's the biggest problem with FaZe in general. Like, they've always, I think many would say they've always struggled against the sort of Tier 1 teams, because the Tier 1 can sort of sometimes match them, frame, and out-tactically beat them. Whereas in this scenario, they've always, like, bodied, like, absolutely destroyed, like, Tier 2 teams, because they can sort of just, well, they out-aim them in every aspect. Obviously, they do have a new member to the lineup, but I don't think Alu is going to need to learn too much in terms of strategy, and, well, they're really looking to see whether the new rule will affect FaZe too much. Obviously, today announced the idea of, well, the ban sort of on coaches being able to just in-game lead. But in this tournament, not going to be too much of a problem. You can see the odds, not really surprised at all, especially after today already beating them twice. I think people would have to be a little bit optimistic. But at the same time, I am hoping to see a different sort of scenario. Maybe they'll start on a different side and get themselves rolling a little bit. We saw in the last matchup how important side picks can really take into account, like 16 sixes for all 3 maps. It's just the first one, the T side didn't go to Envy and things sort of fell apart. Either way, we are going to be going into this one relatively shortly, as you can hear the ticking away of the timer to start this one off.
84% in FaZe is pretty dominant. The one thing I do want to mention is the fact that I have a feeling the reason it might be just extremely one-sided is obviously based off the past results today. So you kind of have to look at that and go, well, are we going to be seeing any counterplays coming to mind? Team X, they're not a write-off completely. They are a good team. They've got some good players. We've seen Glaive play quite well earlier on today, so the potential is certainly there. But now, can they bring it to the table? We are, of course, going to be kicking things off. It will be FaZe on that T side. Team X over on the CT side. Well, let's talk about buys. It will be Molly, just bringing the defuse kit straight up like a smoke. On Glaive as well to follow suit. So it's going to be 2 sets of utility for Team X to play with. On the FaZe side of things, just 4 sets of body armor. The utility player being AZ, and overall nothing too unique.
Yeah, now we're looking to see how this one will start. Already a lot of mid-control being taken by the T side. I think we can almost guarantee that this is going to be an A hit just from the position of the bomb over towards ramp, and then the Palace position already being taken by Rain. And now we're looking to see whether this crossfire can work. Freeze will take the first kill. Now it's whether or not they can capitalize in other avenues. The push will come in. A couple of players going, but it's going to be quick kills. Valde finding both. Jacob will manage one in return, but now they don't have the bomb, and they're stuck towards jungle/window room, and that's not really the best place to be. Already we'll see Snappy finding one more, and this is looking pretty damn bleak as Glaive now the last one left standing. Or Jacob, I mean. Glaive.
Yeah, Glaive is 1 of 4 left standing. He's actually going to be trying to find some shots. It will be Jacob to find the first. Looking for the second towards Valde, but nothing appears to be going his way. He's going to be forced further and further, just rescinding back into the hole that is underpass. And overall, he might be going for a bit of a jump spot, but there is no burst. These crazy bot plays coming today. It will be Glaive to finish things off. Takes down JKM, and maybe a bit of protection coming in from you there, Tom. Because Glaive was the man to find the last frag in that round.
Yeah, of course, that's what I meant.
Just got to play it off like you're smart, okay?
Yeah, I totally knew that.
Totally knew that was coming.
Either way, we are going to have the force buy coming back in from the FaZe side of things. And, well, you have to remember Team X, they have got off to a pistol start at least. We only saw them get 5 rounds just earlier today, so looking to start off much more strongly. I do think this is a good map for them. They're very competent on this map, beating Dignitas on it fairly recently, although that was with a stand-in. And Freeze is going to start things off with the death of Rain. Quick trade from Jacob. The push will come in as Alu grabs another, but it's just going to be Keo left here trying to tap away with the Tech 9. A bomb plant would be valuable, but the likelihood is getting slimmer and slimmer as Valde now makes his way all the way around to finish him off. Nice round from Team X. They keep the majority of their weapons in play, even get a Team Ace to boot. And now we're going to see what FaZe can do in this round where they have no money.
Well, that's going to be the factor, because they were denied a bomb plant. Valde's timing was perfect. Just cut him off right as he was trying to play for the plant, which means, well, as you say, FaZe barely even $2,000 to play with. The only player really sitting somewhat comfortable will be Alu, and even then $2,200, that's not really too much to be shouting about. So it's going to be just 5 sets of blocks, nothing at all being brought up in this round, and we'll actually be just Freeze going a bit aggressive with the USP, just tapping away. We'll find one. Glaive to find another with the UMP, looking to make some money. Glaive just going to dunk someone towards the top mid. The second they're going to follow through, it will be Valde to deliver that dunk straight to the cranium of Jacob.
Yeah, and well, it looks like we have some sort of technical pause coming in, unless the coach really does want to get something big across. I don't think that's going to be any sort of case at the moment, and well, only one frag onto Alu, 3 currently on Jacob, and no one else actually on the board at the moment. Of course, it is very early days, not going to be anything too worrisome just yet, and really looking to see what the T's now have to offer. We know they've got some pretty incredible players all the way across the board. Don't think they'll be able to get an AWP, or they physically can't get an AWP onto Alu. He doesn't have the cash to do so, so it is just going to be the rifles and some nades in this round.
Over on the Team X side of things, really not too much for them to try and do in terms of bring something new to the table. They're just going to keep what they've got. They've got the UMP in the hands of Glaive. They've got the Famous on Snappy, of course. Nothing really too much to add. Freeze, he does have the AWP in play. That's going to be interesting to see. Maybe he can deliver that just marksmanship down towards mid. But overall Phase, it's going to be these 5 rifles looking to bring a bit more of an aggressive touch into this game. As of course we find ourselves in the 4th round of the board. Phase not picking up a round just yet. Team X finding 3 fairly smooth rounds off the back of their pistol round. And now we look to see if maybe Phase can make a change.
Yeah, it is going to be a bit of a bonus buy coming in on Glaive with the UMP, and Snappy still has a Famous in hand, so still not the prime buy just yet, but we do have Freeze with that AWP, and that's going to be a big factor to me starting off. Only 2 rounds away from achieving what they achieved last time, so possibly going to see a closer game, but you never know. Faze could just run over them right here, right now, and they are going to be building up a lot of shallow mid positioning at the moment from the CT side, slightly missing everything, and this is just going to leave that position from Snappy as quite a crucial one, trying to stop them getting anywhere near. Already, Rain is going to get onto the site, open up the first frag, and now, well, everything's just falling apart. Rain does the damage onto 2 players. It leaves 3 to try and bring this back. Snappy will grab 1 and 2, doing the damage, and this position from Valde could just be enough. He's going to find 1, looking for the second, takes Jacob, and now AZ is left in a 1 versus 2.
Huge position coming out from Valde. They're looking to just take it one step further because he can even hold off AZ, who might be creeping around these blocks, but he's going to be caught out. Valde being the man to do the damage. Well, can we sing his praises enough, as he will now be picking up the defuse for his team. And well, Team X, they're well on their way to find more rounds than they did at all in their last map of Mirage. A great way for them to kick things off. Faze seeming just a little bit lackluster. Wasn't quite what I was expecting to see when you look at a team who have just beaten this team twice. The confidence just doesn't seem quite there. Nothing is quite working out for them just yet, but it's early days. So now they will get to bring that buy back to the table. Just 5 rifles. Very much limited utility. In fact, only 2 players with anything to really talk about. And even then, AZ, he's just got a smoke in play. So nowhere near ideal in terms of what they need in terms of toolkits in a round. Overall, certainly still possible as Freeze. He's got the AWP towards him, just trying to find something. Being pushed very aggressively, still going to be able to just walk away, standing. Glaive to find the first.
Now we're looking at Jacob, trying to trade things back, but not going to be able to find that kill onto Glaive. Already we see Snappy going for a bit of a peek over towards short, but realistically not seeing too much. In the last round, you can sort of mention the fact they were caught out by the player lurking in the smoke. Valde, there is that player himself, takes down Jacob, and now it's already going to be just 3 players remaining at this point in time. Snappy going to be looking for the frag and will grab it as well, so already looking like a bit of a problematic round for the Faze side of things. They will be able to get $3,400 just for losing this round, and a bomb plant would allow them to get some extra nades as such, but I really would like to see if they don't manage to pull this one off, which I'm not holding my breath on. They would go for a save or just some pistols, allowing Alu to get onto an AWP, because that is primarily what he has been added into this roster for. Either way, it is going to be Rain to grab 1 more. Looking for more is Alu, but he gets quickly traded out, and Rain with just 21 HP is just going to be trying his best to do a little bit of extra damage, get a bomb plant and a push. But there you go, Modi closes out the round. 4 players survive for Team X, and they've already hit that marker, looking strong so far.
Are going to be looking to see what can be brought to the table this time around. Unfortunately, not quite the answer everybody was looking for, as now it will just be pistols. They're going to be buying down to that 1.6k, 1.8k marker. Alu going to be keeping his part of the bank nice and stacked, because of course he's going to be playing with that late round AWP. But overall, Faze looking to dish out a little bit of damage with a set of armor and pistols. well, we can't justify this. It's not looking too good at all. Nowhere near the performance we were expecting to see. The Team X, they are playing very, very strong. Somewhat different style to briefly witnessed earlier on today as these rifles, they're finding the early on frags. The aggression is working out. The AWP of Faze is doing some work of its own. It will find one. Now he's finally going to be up into play. Finds one of his own. The glaive there, just the insurance policy to take them down. Modi with the pistol. Going to be denying that bomb plant. And one by one, Faze, they seem to be falling. These pistols, they may have found two, but the AWP is still going to be saved into the hands of Team X, and overall, they're not going to be too much of a complaint.
Yeah, more importantly, though, that round was there just as a sort of position for them to actually get something back. They are going to be getting an AWP, full Molotovs, nades across the board at the moment, and really looking to see what Alu can do to challenge Faze, who has been playing over towards mid for quite a few of the rounds. This time he's actually going to take a more aggressive approach over towards B, so trying to shut down apartments and playing that more rotational AWP role. Again, it looks like Faze are trying to get that mid position, but not finding anything too much just yet. Waiting to see if there's any sort of aggression, but that really hasn't come into play just yet. And, well, Team X really are looking strong at this position. This is the first full buy, I would say, that Faze have actually had to go with, and now we're going to see them pushing aggressively out mid. Nobody there to actually respond at this point in time. Two players over towards A and B, and then just one in that sort of ladder room area, which will be Snappy, just allowing Faze to have this mid control and deciding, okay, you can have it, but we'll take the sites.
Indeed, that time is going to be running down. They've already expended the first 50 seconds or so in terms of getting the mid control. But now, where will they head off the back of that control? Faze, he's going to be forced off the tips are short. No AWP play going to be allowed and able to come in from him. He will give away the sound cue. There is a player there, Snappy, going to be the man to do the damage. Takes down AZ. So good opener coming in as Glaive going to find himself a second frag. Takes down Alu. The Molotov soon to go out to block off this B push. Means that Valde, well, the pressure is going to be on for him. But he's going to find the first. Finds the second, looking for just the third. And, well, he doesn't need to because his teammate Faze, he's there lying in lurch with the AWP, catches him out mid-air. And Keo, well, there's only one destination for him, and that's going to be the ground going into his grave.
Yeah, no, really looking like a lackluster start from Faze this time. Not anywhere near the same sort of level. And already 7-0 up. Team X looking very strong. Valde yet to die, 10-0. Really having some very crucial plays, holding down sites and stopping after plant positions. We're back to pistols. Keo will go for a rifle in this round, but doesn't really have too much to offer other than that. And realistically, this isn't looking like too much from the T side. They are going for a little bit of a flank onto Faze, coming out from the underground position, but Jacob is going to be a little bit late on that push. Looking for the shot, will find a dink, but finds the same in return, so hasn't really gained too much for his team just yet. Rain going to go aggressive and now finds the deagle shot. We've seen enough of those already today. Looking for a little bit more, but it looks like the crossfires are in place now from the CT side as they try to close this one out. AZ with another. More deagle shots galore, but Glaive quickly trading things back and looking for the kill onto Alu. Keo has found his way onto the site. Alu has to be careful. Not quite going to be able to spot that out through the smoke, and now it leaves things as an advantage for the T's. They're managing to make this of all buys work, but there's Valde, the man himself, really going big and trying to bring this one back.
And one concern is going to be the low HP, but it doesn't matter. Valde is there. He pops off in a huge manner, finds himself 2 frags, makes it to 3. And while Glaive, he might have found one early on. I was kind of worried with him being on 12 HP and over towards that CT position, but it turns out he just wasn't needed. Valde's going to do all the work for himself, and Team X, well, they're going to get themselves well and truly planted on 8. Faze still not making a single response just yet.
Yeah, that round as an individual wasn't bad from Faze. They managed to get a bomb down, kill 3 players with just a little bit of a force waiting for a buy. But you look at the overall circumstance and they're not doing too well at all. They're left on 0 rounds. Yes, they're on the T side. If they could string some together, there wouldn't be too much of a problem. But at the same time, they've got to even get themselves close. And Body through the smoke will find the first kill onto Rain. Not the best start. Keo now looking to try and find a trade as they aggressively push out onto the site, just trying to take these individual jewels. It looks like maybe the CTs have learned their lesson from last time. Alu going to get himself a freebie as Glaive drops down in front of him, and now we're looking back to a 3v3.
We saw a 3v3 in the past swing in Team X's favour. This time around, will Faze finally turn the tides? The bomb has been dropped, of course, dead centre in the centre of sight, but it means it finally has been picked up. Alu, the man to do the work. He's got the AWP in play. We saw him get a nice early on frag up against Glaive, who some would say handed it to him on a platter. Now they have the more opportunistic time where they can decide, do they actually want to commit to this A site? Because they still have a minute on the clock. So there is no push for them to go just crazy in terms of burst damage. Which means Team X, well, their information could be a little bit lackluster. Will be Snappy just making sure connector is covered. Free is actually going to be the only man looking directly towards the A site. And I'm hoping that he decides to hold this cross, because currently Faze, They're just being allowed all over this A site, just worming their way through every single corner, clearing out every single angle. Now toggles this bomb. If he gets this one down, it could be denied by Snappy. It should be denied, and it will take place. A nice position rolling in, but now Keo, he has to go very aggressive. He's going to know exactly where Snappy is, but Freeze is there to catch him off guard. Well, we were a little bit scared about the positioning, but it worked out in Team X's favour. Faze, they fill hook, line, and sinker for the strategy. And this, for me, is where the tactical pause should almost definitely roll in.
Well, they have to have a pause anyway because they've actually lost a player from the server, which is a little bit of a problem. Jacob
I'd say that's
is gone.
Tiny bit of a problem.
Well, it doesn't seem to matter at this stage. It doesn't matter how many players they have. They're not winning any rounds anyway. The money is looking ridiculous. Valde still hasn't died after 9 rounds and really has looked strong in every single position he's been playing. Over to see what the T's can actually do. They managed to get a bomb down at least. They were a little bit unlucky. The one position they actually chose was one where they didn't really have any chance of actually getting away with anything. But realistically, we're looking to see what they can actually do now. Back to AKs yet again. No AWP for Alu. Literally has enough to just go for that AK and armor, and the rest of his teammates will be able to buy some nades up behind them, but it's just looking so bleak for them at the moment. They really are so far behind. They've got to start making these rounds click very, very quickly, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe the strategy is just not there on their T side.
Well, that's the thing. We say it's just not there. It must be there. This team literally just 16-5'd Team X very much earlier on today. So you have to ask the question of maybe they're just trying to do something new and it's not working out. We kind of discussed this very much so at the start of this map, and well, I've got to say, if it's not working out for FaZe, they should go back to what they did and hope that will stick. AZ will find the first play, going to be quick on the trade. Keo going to find one of his own, so it will favour that FaZe side. But now, can they keep things together, or will they crumble?
Yeah, this is a big round for them now. If they're going to get themselves rolling, it has to begin. A nice shot from Freeze actually hits Keo straight through the box. Probably unknown to his success, but will possibly give away a frag. If Keo especially continues to push via this smoke, the flashbang will come in. That's going to allow Modi to get himself a freebie. Now, we're looking over towards what Jacob can do. He's over towards Stark, looking to try and grab something, but doesn't manage to get the kill. Now Valde's positioning is crucial. Should be able to peek out, find one more. He finally dies, though, and now it's just going to be down to Modi. The after-plant position shouldn't allow for too much. Alu going to peek out, and there we go. That's the end. I was wondering where Alu was for a second. I thought he might not get away with that one. They will save the AWP. They're now on the board, but it has to continue from this stage on. It can't just be the one.
Well, that's the thing. If it is just the one, well, we can almost just say our prayers for FaZe economy now, because it will be left with nothing. So this round, it's one of the most important rounds that they can be playing in this first half. It all comes down to them finding those early on frags, securing themselves a bomb site, and from there, walking away with a win. The one trap I don't want them to fall into is they're relying heavily on this A site. We've not really seen any action at all over towards B, so I'm going to be looking to see whether they can bring something towards the table, maybe a bit of a mid to B split or something along those lines. But unfortunately, it doesn't appear it's going to be happening this time around the bomb. We're creeping up on towards A ramp.
Already we still see them suffering a little bit as AZ is just down to a Tech 9. Alu at least has that AWP to play with, but haven't seen too much from that just yet. SoundQ should give away the position of Jacob, and again it's going to be this A hit. They haven't really dedicated too much over towards the B site just yet, but with the 2 players over towards Connector, the rotation now coming in from Alu, they are going to be setting up to try and find their way somewhere onto this A site. A lot of positions, counter nades thrown out from the CT side. It's going to be a straight push from Rain, looking for one, but he's not going to find anything. Jacob will, but there's Valde pushing out of the Molotov to get himself a double. Quick trades coming in with now just that Tech 9 left to play with, and it's so problematic now for AZ as he falls and the money takes a hit.
It's going to be a very unfortunate factor for FaZe because there is now nothing for them to play with. They are forced back down into the dark, murky depths of an economy round. And well, the reason that is so bleak at this point is the fact that, well, just take a look at the scoreline. If you've not been watching, you should be looking right now at the fact that it's 10-1. FaZe, they haven't really had an impact at all. They might have found one round, but it's one round with no follow-up, no response. So it means now they're limited to just these pistols. We see a bit of armor coming into play, but even then, what on earth can they possibly do, taking into account that every time they've tried anything like this, they have been shut down.
Well, it's funny because the 2 players I said, oh wow, really? But I'd never see anybody get that anymore, so it's so nice that you see someone hit the headshot through the wood. That's so unfortunate. I was going to say the 2 players I did highlight at the beginning who could be potential stars were Jacob and AZ, currently with 6 kills between them, which really does say a whole lot about how this game is going at the moment for FaZe. Team X, I don't know if they've learned from their mistakes. Maybe they just started on the other side. Whatever happened, something bleak is going on for the Faze side as 11 rounds already reside with the Danish team. And Faze, the European mix, are looking like they're under pressure.
The problem for Faze is the fact that, say, we haven't really had too much of an opportunity to check out those previous games. But say Faze did start on their CT side. That's all well and good. That's nice and dandy. The problem they've got is if they don't find at least a couple more rounds, they're not going to get a CT side to try and play.
Oh, definitely the case. I'd say they probably need the last few at least, and they're not going to be playing with too much in this one. Will at least get themselves a kill with the Tech 9. Modi needs to fall back here and play a more safe role. Is going to get dinked straight away, and Rain's just going to be rushing onto his position. Snappy will get to trade one back, but Modi got to be very careful. The flashbang really well placed, but Keo grabs another in the meantime, doing work with that AK-47. Flashbang pops out. Now we see the push from Alu, tapping away, doing a lot of damage, but still not getting the frag. And really, the only player with any HP left is that man there, who's just taken down by Keo.
Faze, the one round they make stick, following up off the original round they found. Going to be a bit of a Tech 9 rifle mix with only one rifle coming up on the board.
I think they actually picked that up as well. I think that was the first frag. Keo picked that up in connector.
Not quite sure what can even be used to describe that one. But the only thing that is worth saying is that Team X, that's going to be not the greatest thing for them. They're going to be feeling quite distraught. But their economy nowhere near broken. They can completely go back into a fresh buy, fresh mines. And Faze, they have to do it all over again, and already they are going to be just taken down a peg. Modi to find the first, a quick trade coming in from JKM. We see Freeze over towards CT trying to do some work. The HU going to be doing some damage of his own. Glaive will take down JKM. Glaive going to make it 2, looking to make it 3. He does just that, takes down Rain. Can he go one step further? As it will be Alu all alone. He will find a pick on towards Glaive, but he has a 1 versus 3 ahead of him. Needs to pick up the bomb, does just that, but now he has to go and get it down. And the keyword is get it down safely. Has 1 minute 20 on the board to play with. Team X aren't going to be going for any quick aggressive pushes anytime soon. Because they're in a 3 versus 1, there is no need. Now it looks like Alu just going to be tempting fate. Goes for the plant. We will get away with it because we can just take a look at the map and we'll notice the fact that Team X, they're actually looking just to do this 3-prong attack from all sides. Send someone from ramp, send someone from connector, and push from CT all at the same time with just an AWP in play. That's going to be pretty rough for Alu to deal with.
Yeah, the likelihood of him clutching this one out is pretty damn slim. A new man on the block, and Snappy going to end any hopes of that just by pushing him with a flank. 12 rounds already on the board for the Team X side. Again, they're going to send that economy packing after just one individual round, and they have looked absolutely dominant over on this CT side. Valde currently 20-3. Absolute star performance from him. Glaive and Snappy on 15-6 apiece, and well, the fragging from Modi and Freeze doesn't seem to matter too much when you're this far ahead.
Indeed, a 12-2 scoreline just following suit. Team X playing very strong. Faze pretty much so on the back foot. Only 2 rounds, and well, they're by it, not even going to be following suit. Just a Tech 9 in the hands of Alu, the new addition to this lineup, who even then not really being able to give him free reign. We even see AZ on the AWP, which is a bit of an interesting one, but no judgment going to be taking place just yet. So now we do see a bit of positioning coming in. Keo looking like he wants to go a bit aggressive over towards B. The bomb there to follow suit. The first time we've actually seen him really try and do something towards B with these rifles. But even then, it looks like they just want to be shut down.
Yeah, Modi will find the first frag. Valde looking for a little bit more, flashing out. Possibly over-aggression here, and Keo will even take him down. So now we're back to a closer scenario. Still a Tech 9 in play onto Alu. Aggressive from Keo, opens up the round once again. Seems to be the only player actually awake at this stage, and well, he's going to be doing the damage this time. The bomb will go down. Of course, it's going to be a retake attempt. It's the last round of the half. Nothing for Team X to lose other than their pride. But it's going to be a missed shot from AZ, and that's not a good way to start this one off. The push coming in from Glaive. Another missed shot. Now he's going to get closed down. Alu stood behind. Does have a rifle, but it will be quick a trade, and now it's all down to Freeze. We haven't had to ask much of him just yet. His teammates have been doing a lot of the work, but here he goes, pushing to try and save this last one, but Keo is there. Triple kill to finish things off, and he will get them a 3rd at least.
A nice round to enter the fold, but it's only 3, and when you compare 12 and 3, one number vastly bigger than the other. And it means that they are going to be very much so on their back foot going into their CT side, which perhaps might be their favoured option. The problem they've got is even with 3, they could still find themselves being zoned out from that second half, which means just pushed around. It's going to be absolutely, just hugely important almost. They have to connect the shots. They have to just find the frags of the USBs, because otherwise, well, there really isn't going to be much of a CT side at all coming in from them.
And they won the 3 of the last 6 rounds. And you say that, and you go, oh, they didn't do that badly then. It's like, yeah, but they lost the other 9 in a row. And you sort of think, yeah, something went wrong there. Something definitely went wrong along those lines. Really nice work again from Team X, but we've already highlighted the fact that they've already beaten them on this very map earlier today. I do have to wonder whether they started on that CT side, but whatever happened, doesn't look like it's going to be repeating itself just yet. It is going to be the pistol round coming in. Smoke's thrown out. The flanking players are going to be coming in from one angle. A nade kill will start things off for Muddy, already adding insult to injury. It is going to be that push. And again, Snappy finding a kill. And this is really looking problematic now. There's only going to be 3 players left to try and give them a chance in this map. Bomb will go down. No damage done. But at least Rain will find one back.
A couple more shots being routed off. Valde going to be the man to do the work. Takes down JK Malo, looking to just go one step further with the USP. Going to make a near miss of the shot, but eventually looks like he's finally going to connect something. But it's just not working out. Rain going to be missing the follow-up shots as well. What is going on, Faze? You need to land these. Is Alo going to miss even more follow-up shots? Rain now going to be going on the aggressive front. He's got this P2000, needs to find it. This is not going to make it hit. How is Valde still alive? Free's going to find another. And Faze, you've just made an absolute mess of that round. And Alo, where were you?
Well, he was hitting a lot of tags, but yeah, just didn't manage to finish off any of those players. It is, of course, going to be a force on the Faze side of things, but they don't really have much of a choice at this stage. Dominant performance coming out from Valde. AZ, yeah, again, AZ and Jacob still right at the bottom of the board. 2 players who, well, if you were going to highlight one, you normally would highlight AZ. He has been the star in this lineup for quite a while, with Jacob sort of not fragging as well because of that very factor. And maybe the sort of adding of Alu has changed something in this lineup, but it shouldn't have. We've already seen it happen earlier today. What has happened? What has changed in the last half an hour or so? I don't know what has been said on the Team X side of things. Maybe they've just taken some Jumba juice or something, but whatever it is working wonderfully. However, in this round at least, the pistols seem to be working. Modi will manage to trade one back. It's going to leave a 3 versus 3 position, and Alu will grab another with the CZ. They're really doing damage with these pistols. Modi seems to be the only saving grace at this stage, trying to save this round individually, but there goes Alu to finish him off as well.
Here, he's going to make it work. So Faze, finally, they will pick up a round with pistols. So one of the interesting trends about Faze is the fact that most of the rounds they found in this game, I think only one of them have actually come down to a traditional route. The others?
I can't even think of the one.
That's the thing. The other rounds, at least from memory, they were all kind of rounds that they shouldn't have been winning. They were pistol rounds, you know, coming up against these spies where they just found those close range advantages, and we just witnessed that again. The CZs being the weapon of choice to do the damage. So now Team X, they are on the back foot, economy not swinging in their favor, but they do have the 4 Tech 9s in their galore.
Yeah, they are going to go for a buy in this scenario. It will be only a couple of rifles on the other side of things, so still have to seem like this is possible with the couple of SMGs. Jacob using the P90, Keo going for the trusty 5.7, but again, in terms of actual buys, there's still huge potential for the Danish side to bring this one back. They are going to go aggressive towards mid once again. There is a cross being holed at the moment by Rain. He does only have an SMG, so it isn't the ideal weapon, and they're actually going to get way past him before anything can be done. AZ spraying away, only going to grab one himself, and it is just going to be quick trades. Keo trying to do the damage with the pistol, and it doesn't seem to be working out at all. And AK being picked up by Valde is allowing him to pick up a second kill, and now it's all down to this sort of 2 versus 3 scenario, and the bomb's just going to rotate to B. Oh,
He's just going absolutely huge, mowing them down. A one-man army with the M4, doing the damage. And well, a round that looked like it was going to go in their favour. Freeze, he's just there, lying in lurch, almost just making it work. What else can be said? Team X, seemingly unstoppable. Faze on the other hand. Does anyone know where Faze went in the last half an hour? Because whatever they've done, something's gone wrong. This is the exact flip side of the result. If Faze just pick up one more round on Team X, then walk away with this as a 16-5 fashion, is a direct opposite of what we just witnessed only 45 minutes or an hour ago.
Yeah, we are going to see a nice start to Snappy, stopping any aggression from the CT side in this round, trying to make it work with the pistols yet again, but it doesn't seem to be the factor so far. AZ, Jacob and Keo, 3 names that normally strike fear into the hearts of their opposition, don't seem to be doing it yet. We are just waiting to see whether or not they can do it in this round. Valde holding a bit of an off angle. Jacob may not suspect too much, and is actually going to go pushing a little bit further along, trying to get himself close range. May even spot the barrel of the gun, and that should allow him to get a little bit of information. It looks like, I don't know, has he actually, did he see that? I don't think he did. Just from the position he's holding, I don't think he could have seen that, but he will find the kill. That's an AK into his hands as well. T's don't really seem to be dedicated over to which direction they're going just yet. although they could go either way.
Well, that's the thing. They have bundles of firepower, a lot of energy, and they could go anywhere they so choose. Short looks like it's going to be right for the picking at this point. Really no one there to contest it. AZ, the only man remotely close. And even then, he's just constantly having second thoughts. The seed is out over towards ramp. Going to be absolutely huge, because if they time Modi going with a couple of shots, it could be perfect, but it will be Freeze pushing up nice and close. The flash going to go out, but it's going to be a huge mistake. AZ not quite going to make it work. Won't quite find a frag on the back of it. Jakim going to find one of his own that takes down Glaive. AZ to find a second, takes down Freeze, and this is looking much better for Faze. But it's still just Modi on 6 HP. AZ going to find another, takes down Freeze. Now it's all going to be on Snappy. He's going to find the first, but can he find the last frag required? It's all going to be on AZ. He's got a CZ in play. Should be able to find himself a rifle. But Snappy, well, he's over on B planting the bomb.
And he's going to plant it in a fairly open position as well, allowing him to take different angles, not allowing his opposition to actually know where he went. AZ does have himself an AK now with the kit, a flashbang to boot, so not the worst scenario for him to be in, but the amount of utility actually on Snappy and the HP advantage does make you want to favor him in this scenario. Very slow movement coming out, checking every single angles. AZ normally want him in this scenario, but at the same time, so far he has not been the player we all know and love. The bomb's starting to tick a little bit faster, and perfectly positioned Snappy will take that frag. Almost baited him to look towards long.
Team X, they've got themselves to 15. Faze, they're on 4. Not looking good at all. We will see a pause roll in, technical or tactical. You kind of have to look at it and go, if they're going to call a tactical, I'd be a little bit worried at this point, because it's a little bit late. Thankfully, it is going to be a technical, and I say thankfully, I think that's almost just a kind of a perseverance of sense question.
I don't even think Faze, they've already used their tactical pause. I suppose a player dropped at the same time.
They called it a technical, it wasn't a tactical. They just unpaused once he reconnected, so there was no kind of tactical opportunity for them to actually sit back and have a full proper 2-minute break. So they have been able to use it at any point, and they just not opted for it. And well, the only reason this is a tempo breaker here is the fact that it's not even a Faze issue. It's one of the Team X side of things.
Yeah, Freeze is going to be dropping out of the server for a second. I genuinely have no idea what they could even talk about at this stage. Just getting dominated in most positions in the round. They don't even have too much to play with in this one. They didn't manage to win the last, and should at least have a buy on the board, but it's not going to be anything too special. Faze looking almost beaten down to the floor at this stage as Team X, well, it almost seems as they were just waiting, like almost, you know, when you sort of, like those pool games where it's like, oh, I'll let you win, I'll let you win. Ah, no, I'm going to get you when it hurts, when there's big money on the line. I suppose ESL Pro League is not exactly little money, but at the same time, this is a sort of quarter-final position. If you win that semi-final, you don't go on to a final, you go on to the finals, the whole LAN finals. You get yourself through. It's very, very close scenario. It's not like one of those positions where if you lose this map, oh yeah, we were far away from it anyway. No, FaZe win 2 best-of-3s, and they are through. They go to face off against big, big names. Like we've already got the rest of the sort of, well, we don't have SK, unfortunately. They've had to bow out due to Fur's injury. But everybody else in the top 8 at the moment is going to the LAN, although I have to say top 8 slightly thrown off balance by the split of Godsent and Fnatic, but I'm hoping we'll see both of them at the LAN. That's what I'm praying for anyway. It'd be nice to see that competition come into play. Either way, it's a big tournament and it's quite a bit of money to play for as well, 300 grand on offer, and I'm sure that FaZe would be wanting to get there. Take, say, a few months ago and that was the prize pool of a major, so not really looking too shabby at this stage, but realistically, FaZe are just looking abysmal.
Well, that's the thing. It's not chump change, don't get me wrong, but in order to get remotely close to getting the money, FaZe actually have to win this match. And while it might be a BO3, so they might have 3 opportunities, but that's even if they can take it to 3. They will need this second map, unless they can go absolutely huge here, which, you know,
not holding my breath.
Not going to be just sitting back and going, yeah, FaZe, they can bring all the rounds required back in a row. Not looking too positive for them, but it will mean that the pressure is going to be mounting for that second map.
Yeah, I genuinely have no idea what's changed. Literally, we've gone an hour difference between them absolutely dominating. And you could say the fact that maybe Team X just weren't on point and things weren't really working out, but we sort of talk about this lineup, and there's so many players that we mention as being massive players, players who go off an awful lot. Keo, we sort of spoke that he was the main fragger, but Rain was definitely up there with him. We had, well, Alu didn't have too much of a performance, but he is brand new to this lineup, slotting into a completely different sort of position. Like, he's gone from being a star, well, a big fish in a small pond, I suppose, to just a fish. Because everybody in this sort of lineup is that sort of player, someone who could be the star of any other team. And it's just sort of crazy at this point that, well, crazy that AZ is just not even on the map.
One of the things I also want to say in regards to kind of the big fish in the small pond analogy is the fact that Ents, yes, they play on a lot of events, but we don't tend to see them in the top tier events. Whereas Faze, on the other hand, we generally see them as this team that can contend for that top 8 spot, pushing to be in some of the world's best events, pushing to get themselves well and truly into the playoff stages at events such as the Major. So that's going to be their goal. So it is almost that elevation for Alu, where he now has to be back in a team where, as you said, he's not going to be the star. There are going to be a lot of players around him, not only in this team, but also the skill level he will be playing against could find itself being somewhat elevated.
But this is sort of the big problem for FaZe, especially we talk about them sometimes having these crazy runs where a few of their players step up and, well, they're not even going to get that potential if they don't even get themselves to the lands in general. So this one is looking pretty bleak. It is only the first map. We will be going on to Cobble, and if they do start on the T side, I wouldn't be feeling too worried for them just yet, because they do have that potential to just go absolutely crazy. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure this is their map pick as well. So they're going on to this one. We've seen a bit more of a spanner thrown into the works from Team X, who obviously after the last showing decided that they were going to go for this one. And yeah, this is actually their map pick. I can see why after the last sort of battle that they did, where they won at 16-5, but at the same time, I'm genuinely just bemused by what we're actually seeing at this stage, and there's no one I can really say, do you know what, they've been performing well. Keo, he's had a couple of moments. There were a few rounds where I was thinking, you know what, maybe he's going to come alive at this stage, but even if he did, it wouldn't have mattered too much. One player going crazy, well, we've got that on the other side of things. In fact, we have multiple. We've got Valde, who up until what, something like 10, 11 rounds in, he hadn't even died. Well, probably 10, the one that they actually lost. He hadn't died at all. That doesn't happen. That shouldn't happen, especially when you're the favoured team in the matchup, where you're supposed to be a team, well, the team was built to challenge for the top. It's definitely not challenging for the top here. Team X, no offence to them, I like them as a team, but they're nowhere near the top. They're just not. They're creeping into the top 20 at this stage. So the fact that FaZe is struggling to even compete against them, this team doesn't look like it's been built in the way that it was meant to be. Yes, they've got a new player today, but realistically, you look at this team and you say, look at the amount of talent, look at the amount of potential talent on this team, and they should be winning this without any trouble.
Well, that's the thing, especially, really just want to send this point home. They have just played Mirage, and it was completely different. So unless FaZe have decided, yeah, we just want a map, but we are going to go for the complete counterplay strategies, go really out there and change everything up, which I've always got to say I find a little bit unbelievable if they're going to change everything, because you'd have to, you'd have to get a point where you say, okay, we just lost 6 rounds in a row, maybe we should go back to what we did the first time. Surely that must have kicked in.
The only other factor is if Team X really have just switched up the way they play and they've countered everything very, very effectively. The other thing was, well, Valde has just gone ham, which I don't know whether or not that should be playing too much of a factor, but it does look like it is. He's been going crazy. Glaives still up there, 18 kills to 9. We've got Snappy as well. Well, we've got at least 2 players on it, or 3 players on a 2 KD plus, which is pretty crazy. And, well, it's just looking really bleak at this stage. We will now have Freeze getting back into the server, and, well, they're going to be coming back in with a buy. Of course, Team X looking like they are going to be taking this one over the line, and then we may just have to talk about the prospect for FaZe in map 2.
Now we are going to be going straight back into this one. It's either going to be a quick, swift round on the board for Team X, where they will just behead FaZe and walk away with that very decisive first map.
Just take the top of the F.
Yeah. Or we're going to be looking at FaZe, or maybe A's in that regard, looking to finally dish out the damage and make that comeback possible. Ready to kick things off, a bit of map control being taken by Team X very early on. They're just going to be creeping up through mid. It'll be Rain going for a very aggressive peek, but a nice frick coming in. Freeze, and he's just going to be doing the work. Finds a second frag, takes down Keo. Snappy now going to be coming into action.
He
from
finds
the
that. Oh, what HP.
Gets away by the skin of his teeth. Just 1 HP to play with the HG grenade. Could be somewhat damaging. Won't actually land on the corner, which means Alu going to get away unscathed. But even then, it's a 3 versus 4. 1 HP on AZ. A CZ in the hands of Alu, and a CZ in the hands of JKim. Is this even possible?
Yeah, not looking good. Jacob's position isn't a bad one, but the Molotov may force him back looking to see what he can actually do here, and quickly we see Valde push out onto the site, doing a hell of a lot to actually open this back up. This means just 2 players trying to survive already. All of the positions are being held by Team X, waiting for any sort of aggression. Alu pushing through, easy frag, and this is a good at done. AZ 1 HP, trying to finish this one off. Valde will end him with a headshot to make it permanent, and a 16-4, even improving on what they just had done to them on Mirage, and now they're going with a 1-map lead.
Is there anything to say? Really? I don't feel like anything that comes to mind. It was just domination coming out from Team X. They delivered the reverse sweep straight into the palms of Faze. Well, talking about Faze, where were half your players?
See, Team X clearly saved some strategies ready for Starladder, you know. That's what it was. They just wanted this one so much more. That's what I'm believing in. Either way,
whatever lets you sleep at night.
Either way, we are going to be coming back after the break with map number 2, and that will, of course, be Cobblestone.